Are sports card box prices now officially out of control? We're seeing high-end products debut on the market for $8,000 or more for a box, and even lower-end products are coming out of the gate significantly more expensive than they were in previous years. Can collectors handle this, and what can be done about it? We'll debate now. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another episode of Cards on the Table. Teapot, Doug, we have reached the time again where whenever we do an episode, whether it be this Cards on the Table or my top 5 or any episode I do, inevitably there are comments that say box prices are out of control. Those comments seem to be increasing week over week over week, and we got a lot of them after last week's episode where we talked about the fact that Topps was debuting this Victor Wembanyama Mercury card box collection at least $8,000, maybe more, is going to be what those boxes start to retail for. People said out of control. This last week, you had Panini National Treasures football, first off the line, go on Dutch auction on Panini's website. And they started the Dutch auction at $8,500 for a box. Now, it actually dropped all the way down to $3,500. People weren't buying it. And we don't believe it sold out. It ended at $3,500, and that was their floor plot price, and we don't believe it sold out. So the markets had something to say about that. They said $8,500 is crazy for that type of product. Even on the lower end, we're seeing new products this year from Topps and from Panini come out of the gate significantly more expensive than they were in previous years. People have been complaining about the price of new Bowman boxes, new Topps Chrome boxes. We've heard all year long, Prism, out of control, Select, out of control, Optic, out of control, especially considering the fact that those products are very limited and what you can get in terms of autographs of, when you're looking at like both football and basketball for those products. They don't have all of the guys signing. Have we officially reached the point where box prices are now out of control beyond what the typical collector, what the average collector can reasonably handle, what we can expect them to reasonably handle? And if so, what the heck do we do about it? Teapot, I'm going to start with you.
Well, maybe they've been out of control, and now people are starting to go, this is too out of control. Why have we been doing this? We're getting smoked. I have a lot to say about National Treasures, about this product. First of all, there's not even a checklist available to see what's in the product. What kind of crackhead would go out and spend $8,500 on a first off the line box and not know what they can get out of the product? We talk about repacks all the time and the need for transparency. You don't even know what's available in the product. So we know what we do know is that they don't have CJ Stroud autos. They don't have other key autos. You're basically chasing Anthony Richardson, who hasn't exactly lit the world on fire so far this year.
I tried to warn everybody about him, by the way. I tried to warn him.
Who is injured, and Will Levis, who we all know stinks.
His cards are down 50 to 70%.
Yeah. So Neo made a great point that they released this Dutch auction 2 weeks into the season when Puka was down, Richardson wasn't great, Levis stinks. Those are the chases. I'm going to say something that I think National Treasures right now is the single most overrated product in existence, bar none, across all manufacturers. As it stands today, you can't really get anything great out of it. Even ignoring the class, we know the patches are not game worn.
Yeah, they're no longer game worn, but they used to be a number of years ago.
Not even the veteran ones.
Yeah.
So last year, they feature a Lamar Jackson NFL Shield auto card right on their marketing, pictures, which is all you really get a preview of. So I looked up Lamar Jackson's Shield from last year. It's player worn. It's not even game worn. This late in the year, it's coming out. By the way, remember, this is 2023. National Treasures coming out 2 weeks into the 2024 NFL season, and it's still not game worn. Aesthetics-wise, Immaculate RPAs look much better than National Treasures, at least in my opinion. Overall, there are just too many RPAs. There's way too many RPAs. Most now are sticker autos. You have one in every product. You have them in Spectra. You have them in Select. You have them in everything. Most of them are sticker autos. None, aside from Flawless, are game worn. So in my opinion, I think it should be flawless or bust. I think we need a new term, a new acronym, which is FRPA. Fake, F for fake, and F for rating.
I didn't know what F was for there, Teapot. This is a family-friendly show,
It may or may not be
Teapot.
for something else that would be very apropos. So,
okay.
I'll say one more thing. People want to protest the 8K Wemby boxes.
Yep.
At least you're going to get value out of those boxes. Don't talk about unlicensed stuff compared to licensed with not from any player or anything else that's going to be $8,500. Don't buy NT. Sorry.
Okay. So Teapot is clearly against National Treasures football. The prices there. But Doug, what about the rest of the market? Like it's people are complaining about these products on the high end for sure. We're hearing it. We're hearing the complaints about it. But people are complaining about the products that they used to walk into a card shop and buy a Bowman or Bowman Chrome for $100 or $150 or something like that, and now they're coming out the gate a lot more expensive, right? And the same, obviously. I mean, Prism, Optic Select, you can't even touch these products anymore. It feels so expensive to rip into a box of that. Make sense of this for me, Doug.
I can't make sense of it. Unfortunately, this is the easiest question I've ever been asked on this show. Yes, boxes across the board are way too expensive, and there's not really anything we can do about it. This started around the pandemic. Around 2020 is when this started. And you could walk into any retail store, you could clear the shelves, and make $3-4 extra money immediately. And the reason why, at that time in 2020, you could go and get a base Prism Zion, grade it, PSA 10, and sell it for $700, $800, $900 at its peak. Ja Morant was going for $700. Even if you didn't hit the best players, if you got Tyler Hero, $300. Bol, $400 at one point. I'm talking about a base Prism PSA 10.
Where do you think those are today?
$5 for Bol.
In value bins.
$40 for Zion. But at the time, it was free money. You could just walk in, clear a shelf, and flip those boxes, or just hit a base card and make a ton of money if it graded well.
Those were the days.
Obviously, that's come crashing down.
Those were not the days.
But that's been replaced by breaking culture. Around the same time, breaking culture has really picked up. At the time, anybody, any teenager with an iPhone and an Instagram account could go live and rip a cello pack and make 5x their money. That's, of course, evolved into much bigger breaking operations. Huge players have come into the market like Whatnot and Fanatics Live. But breakers keep wax prices afloat.
Yeah.
They have to have inventory, no matter what.
Yep.
They can't afford to say, oh, I'm not buying this product, I think it's overpriced. They have to have inventory to break. They have to pay whatever prices are set. And these companies aren't stupid. Panini and Topps have adjusted their prices based on what the market is reflecting. If they sell a box for $200 and they see it on this, on the secondhand market for $500, why would they just be handing out that much profit? They're going to adjust their prices to match what they see in the market. That's business, unfortunately. We might not like it, and what's the solution for them? It's to raise print runs and raise prices, and that's unfortunately what we're seeing. We're seeing more product than ever before at more, expensive rates than ever before, and I just don't see a way around that unless we stop buying it, and we're not going to.
This is literally an impossible problem to solve.
Yeah.
And I feel for collectors, I do. Like here at Cards HQ, right? We've got our shelf stocked with wax, and I do feel bad when a family walks in the store, father, son, and they're interested in buying a baseball box, a soccer box, a football box, whatever it may be, and I walk them around and they look at the different things, and I'm like, man, the price on, and they ask, what's the best value, or what's going to give me my most bang for my buck? And I look at some of the box prices, I'm like, man, these are, you got trouble getting bang out of your buck at a lot of these, and it's not all that way. There are certain products, like certainly you can rip Topps flagship. Series 1, Series 2, Topps update's going to come out soon, and that's not going to be very expensive. You can rip that stuff, and you get a bunch of cards for not that much money. But of course, you're not going to have much chance of pulling the really great chase card.
You could,
but the odds are pretty far.
Yeah.
But there are still products that do offer more value. But what they really want is the shiny chrome Prism number, and then you get into really high prices. It is tough, and it's tough for the reason why you said, Doug. It's supply and demand. Like, what are the manufacturers supposed to do?
Yeah.
They're in a they're in a no-win situation. If they keep their runs limited so that the boxes maintain good quality, they don't parallel you to death, they don't put a zillion autos of guys drafted in the 40th round in the products and that kind of stuff, right? Then then what's going to happen is all of these boxes are going to come out the gate. They're all going to be scooped up, and then they're going to end up on the secondary market for 3, 4, 5x, as you said, just like what was happening back in 2020. We're seeing that happen some this year. We've seen many products here. Our initial wave of the product at Cards HQ was at a certain price, and then the secondary market started to move up, and then we reordered some of the product, and it was at a higher price. And then we had to price it higher because the secondary market's higher. We've seen a lot of these products move up this year on the secondary market. So the manufacturers could then, another option is they could print a lot more, be a supply demand. Yes. So create a lot more supply, and then that helps even it out with demand, which helps keep prices in check. But nobody actually wants that.
I'll give you the perfect example.
Nobody wants it.
This year's Topps Chrome Star Wars came out at $120 a box. I bought 3 boxes here, and I opened them because you actually got color out of it. You got a lot of color. You got autos, you got color, you got different cool inserts. It was a well-balanced product that very clearly didn't get printed to the moon like, a baseball product or something else. So it felt good opening it. That product is now $300 to $350 a box.
Yep.
And people at Collecticon this last weekend were actively trying to buy it at $300 to $350 a box. Still to rip it.
You got to fly. T-Bob's getting attacked live by a fly.
NT hell. Sorry.
Panini sent a fly at you.
Yeah. It's probably a robot. So anyway, that's the perfect example that I would like to, we can get mad about prices, but then that paradigm happens where you have flies in your face and you can't afford to buy anything.
Yeah.
So
I know that's the challenge. I do agree that breakers have added a lot of price pressure into the market. This is, or maybe the opposite of price pressure. They've lifted prices up in the market with all of this. That's definitely true. And you're going to get a lot of people in the comments saying that Topps and Fanatics really seem to be orienting things towards breaking. And I think that that's also true. I do think, personally, I don't understand this, man, this is probably a whole nother conversation. Yeah. I don't understand the hate towards breaking, which there's a lot of hate towards breaking because, in my opinion, those really high-end products or those products that are now getting out of control, like even, Prism Football or something like that, I would rather buy into a break for that product, still get the thrill of seeing the box opened, but pay $59 or $99 to have a team in the product and see a box or two of it get opened and feel like, okay, that was fun. And I'm in it for less than $100, but I got the thrill of kind of watching the whole thing rather than rip a box of it myself. So I'm actually okay with breaking as a way of taking the better products and making them, more accessible. But not everybody is on board with that. A lot of people like the nostalgia of walking into the shop and ripping the whole box on their own. And some of these boxes are getting to the point where that is just difficult to do these days. So I get it. The one piece of advice I could give to the manufacturers, and I think they're thinking this way, I do think Topps is thinking this way, especially, is just to continue to stratify your products and have products that you are very price point conscious on for collectors to be able to come in and rip a hobby box, right? And then other products, they're going to go in the direction of breaking, and that's fine. But really pay attention to how your product mix is to try to satisfy all needs. And you're never going to make everybody happy, but I think that there needs to be a lot of critical thought put into that to have collector level products that are still affordable. I mean, maybe it's light versions of hobby boxes. I know they've done that with certain releases. Maybe it's that kind of stuff where you can still get the box, you can still open it. Maybe you're not getting as many autos as the full version. Maybe you're not getting maybe it's different types of parallels that aren't worth as much in the secondary market, but you still get the thrill of ripping it. They've gone in this direction some. Panini's got some products like No Huddle that, have kind of gone in this direction some a little bit as well. But I think that's all I see as a solve. I don't know how else you solve it.
One last thought on this because I know we're running long. I think what's really shining a spotlight on the bad value in boxes right now is the fact that with Panini, you don't have the licensing for the top players. You don't have Wemby. You don't have CJ Stroud. And then with Topps, they have those, but it's all unlicensed product. And I think both sides of that, it's kind of shining a spotlight on how bad the value is right now.
I think
some of that might work itself out a little bit as that gets fixed, but not box prices in general. Maybe just the value starts to come up and match it a little bit more.
I think you're right. So as box prices have remained high, things like repacks have gotten more popular. We're going to talk about some of those in today's show. And these slab packs at Arena Club, they have been more popular than ever. Last week, we had Justin from Arena Club on the show talking about the slab packs, and they're doing another drop of them tomorrow, Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, as they do every week. And this week, in their Ruby Grail packs, you're chasing a Patrick Mahomes 2017 Contenders Optic Auto, number to 75, BGS 9, Auto 10. In their baseball pack, they've got a beautiful Aaron Judge 1-of-1 patch auto, Logo Man patch auto from Topps Dynasty. And in their basketball pack, they've got the card that they showed off last week. It wasn't hit last week. They've got that card in their basketball pack still. Somebody is going to get the 1-of-1 card from Topps Now, the USA basketball card with Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. Those are all live. They'll be live tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Use promo code SCI. Download the Arena Club app right now, and then use promo code SCI for 10% off your purchase of anything, your first purchase on Arena Club's app. All right, guys, let's jump into our next topic today. Let's stick with talking about repacks because they have become more and more popular as an alternative to boxes. And now they seem to be going very mainstream because we have Backyard Breaks teaming up with GameStop and putting $59 repacks in GameStop stores around the country. Now, Backyard Breaks has kind of become known for repacks. They've shifted a lot of the breaks that they do to actually be their own repack products. They've got a lot of different repack products that they have been selling. And this one in particular, it is called their Flamethrower Game Changers packs. They're available in GameStop stores across the country, I think a couple thousand stores. And there's different levels of these packs that you can get. Somebody recently pulled a 2017 Optic Patrick Mahomes PSA 10 out of 1. That was one of the big hits, apparently, in the entire product. It was considered a GOAT, a GOAT thing. $59 seems like a good entry point. Of course, I imagine with a lot of these packs, I imagine the card you're getting out of it, not worth $59, right? But that is, of course, the case with opening boxes in general. Teapot, what do you make of the fact that we now have repacks going mainstream in a major U.S. retailer like this?
We've got everybody in the comments by now triggered because we've talked about wax prices, we've talked about breaking, and now we're talking about repacks, the three favorite things that people like to rabble-rouse about. Repacks are here to stay. They're absolutely here to stay. We've talked about the value proposition and transparency. One thing I like about the Arena Club ones is that there is transparency. You actually have that. When you walk into a GameStop and you buy one, I don't know. I guess I don't know enough about the transparency of these. Is it going to be better than those PSA, non-PSA vending machines that were in Vegas that everybody was getting crushed on?
Yeah, no. Apparently continue to get crushed on.
Yeah, and by the way, not officially associated with PSA.
Yeah, I think they took the PSA label off of that.
I heard they raised the price of them.
Who knows?
I heard they doubled the price. I haven't seen it myself, but somebody who was in Vegas
they sold out.
told me
it's like the claw machine at the airports for like the iPads and stuff, when you're like trying to get and you never get the thing. So that's the biggest thing. Do we know anything more about what you can get other than these goats that apparently can be hit out of these? When you mask your repack behind multiple layers of business, you've sort of pulled yourself out of the equation to be put under the spotlight. Somebody now is going to direct their frustration at GameStop, at some employee who just likes, playing, I don't know, some video game and was like, great, now I have to sell sports cards on top of this. We've already seen them trying to figure out how they comp these cards at GameStop to buy them, and are they going to do instant buybacks? I don't know. Overall, I don't have a ton to say about this. I will say it's interesting to think, do repacks actually, are those possibly helping keep wax prices down somewhat if there's a lot of people now buying into repacks instead of buying into breaks, which we know can raise the price of wax. So for those who are upset about wax prices and also upset about repacks, maybe you should reconsider that position because maybe the repacks are helping at least keep wax prices down somewhat. I don't know.
Interesting. What's your take, Doug?
I don't have a problem with this necessarily. Here's the thing with this, right? This particular brand of repack, amongst the major repacks, is probably one of the worst values out there. It's got the least amount of transparency, and I'm hearing, this is all, this isn't necessarily fact, but I'm hearing margins on this can be as high as 110% on that particular repack. So they're making a killing on these. Chances are you're getting something less than half of what you're paying for it. And it lacks the two things I look for in a repack. The number one thing I look for if I'm buying into a repack product is transparency. The number two thing I like now is a buyback option. This doesn't have either of those things, but because it's such a low price point, you're not going to get crushed on it, right? If you're paying $60 and you're getting $20 back, that's not great, but you're not, I'm not going to lose any sleep over that personally. So with this in particular instance, I don't mind it. But also, I'm just seeing repacks being more popular across other areas as well. I just saw someone opening repacks of graded coins. They're opening sealed packs, pulling out a mystery graded coin out of it. Could have been an American Silver Eagle, could have been a gold coin. So I think repacks, that whole element, that whole chase is starting to spread across, other areas of collectibles or alternative investments perhaps. It's not going anywhere, so we just need to figure out the best way to kind of find the path forward with repacks, but they're staying.
It is really interesting because raffles have rules and legislation in like many states. In Georgia, you have to get a license from the sheriff's office. It's limited to like a few $100s. You have to jump through a bunch of hoops to get these things cleared. I don't know.
Boy.
I don't know.
Boy. Oh, Teapot. Don't call for regulation, Teapot.
Don't
call for regulation. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Fair point, though. I hear what you're saying. Fair point. Transparency, keyword. There needs to be more transparency. I think if repacks have checklists and you can actually see what was put into that and add it up yourself and see what kind of value there is and what the profit margins are and everything like that. That transparency, I think, is a good thing for these types of products that, as you said, are not going anywhere. I agree. So at least let's be transparent about them. Another thing that's not going anywhere, gentlemen, our next topic today, Topps Now cards, they are not going anywhere. And in fact, now we've got another big one-of-one chase. We're just coming off of that triple auto, the LeBron, KD, which, by the way,
where is it?
As of the filming of this, still out there. Now, maybe by the time this airs, someone has redeemed that, but we're still looking for that triple auto, the LeBron, Steph, KD from the last Topps Now release, the USA Basketball. Now we've got Topps Now producing Ohtani cards. Of course, he hit 50-50. This is a great moment for Topps Now to produce these cards. I mean, this is the type of thing Topps Now is built for. But what Topps has done, similar to USA Basketball, is now there's a one-of-one autoed by Ohtani with an inscription, 50-50 Club, wrote the date of it on there as well. That one is surely going to be sought after. There's also short prints that you can get. So I think we're probably in another situation where you're going to see a very high number of these Ohtani Topps Now cards ordered. A lot of people are going to get the base cards that aren't going to be worth much because there's going to be a lot of them out there. Some people will get short prints, parallels, and somebody will get the 101, which inevitably will be worth a ton of money. Doug, I'm going to start with you on this topic. What do you make of this? Is this just going to be business as usual going forward for Topps Now, and are we cool with it?
It's definitely going to be business as usual. These can be pretty cool. When this first started happening, I loved the idea, but now it's every week, right? So it's situational at this point. It depends on what the particular milestone is or the achievement. Sometimes the photo on the card matters a lot, or the inscription matters a lot. They can still be very cool chases, and this one will be one that a lot of people want. It's very smart for Topps to have these really significant moments, and the inscription matters a lot to someone like me. That's worth chasing, in my opinion. But as every week passes and more of these one-of-ones come out, it does, I am starting to feel a little jaded by it. I'm not going to buy these anymore just because, it's every week there's something else to chase. And for me, I'm just, I don't see the appeal in it anymore. It'd have to be something that I was personally trying to collect. I'm not going to be chasing, value or anything like that any longer. But it's definitely not going to stop. Topps, this was one of the best ideas they've had in a long time. They're printing millions a week off of these Topps Now cards. Whatever happens that week, make a one-of-one of it, get a cool inscription on card auto, and they're printing money. So it's here to stay for sure, just like repacks are. And that's probably where all these base cards are going to end up, right? In somebody's, poor repack. But yeah, we're going to have a landfill of base Topps Now cards and way too many one-of-ones, but there's going to be some cool ones to chase.
I agree. Are you similar thoughts, or?
Yeah, it's definitely not going anywhere. I don't know if it's being overdone or not. If this is their new vehicle to get milestone cards into collectors' hands, and that's how they're going to focus on it, I think it's fine. Obviously, the hobby tends to prefer pack-pulled cards, but it's interesting. These are literally printed to demand. The one unique aspect of it is probably not actually, though, because everybody's sort of chasing the golden ticket to get that one-of-one. So when it was the LeBron, Durant, Curry card, I went out and bought 10 of those. I didn't want 10 of those base cards for my collection. I was just like, let's see if I get a pack. Let's chase it a little bit. So
did you?
I did not get any of those cards. No. So this is kind of, this is really like truly a lottery ticket. Like it's printed to demand. You go out, you maybe strike out those triple card Olympic cards. Base are going for a couple bucks now, so that wasn't obviously a good value proposition. I don't know. I think it's interesting. It's almost like a really interesting market research vehicle too for the manufacturers to be able to do this, just to see like which of these moments is most important, what's the market on these different players, use that to inform how you're building out other products. I would like to know, it would be nice if when they make these cards, if they had said something like, we're not going to use this moment in any other product, that would like change the game, because then you're like, oh, this is the card. This is the card. But if they go on and they make 15 other Ohtani 50-50 cards in every product that's yet to come out, that's where it starts to me get problematic. And then they start devaluing their own now, type thing.
And they could do that.
That's why I thought a little bit different about the USA stuff, because they're probably not going to make a lot of Team USA cards that was specific to that Olympics. But I agree with you. I bet there's going to be a ton of Ohtani 50-50 stuff coming down in the next year.
These are all good points. I love it. I like what they're doing. I agree though, Doug, in moderation.
Yeah.
I think maybe they do these the big chase, the big one-on-one. Maybe we're doing that like 3 or 4 times a year. That feels about right to me. Let's not do it every month. And they probably don't intend to. It's just you happen to have a couple of big events that got stacked up like this, kind of back to back. But I think a few times a year, it's a good thing for the sports card hobby. It's an exciting moment. So I'm a fan of it for sure. All right, we're going to move to the last topic today, a big record sale. But before we do, Teapot, I wanted to give you a bit of a shout out here. You've been doing great videos on the Market Movers YouTube channel. You've gone the direction of doing a lot of education.
Yep.
Tell people about some of your recent work here.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to get back to basics. We wrote the Dummies book. We published that. I've been going through that with our video team and just saying, how can we turn this into videos? How can we actually use this in video format? Not everybody wants to read a book or likes to read a book or wants to buy a book. So we're putting on a lot of educational content, and we've kind of like focused into some different archetypes of videos, really. Like some of it's just entertainment. Some of it's more like the traditional data dives, kind of looking at the market as it stands right now, and then doing more, back to basics 101 type stuff. And the feedback's been really good. Had a lot of people actually the last 2 weekends at the shows at Culture Collision and Collecticon come up and say how much they've appreciated that. So, having been back in the hobby for 5 years, it's easy to forget what it was like to be a new collector, but there are a lot of new people coming in, and that's just what I'm trying to do, is to help them get acclimated, so to speak.
There you go. And you guys can check these videos out on the Market Movers YouTube channel. It's a different YouTube channel, but there's a lot of good stuff there. Go check it out. Okay, guys, final topic of the day. We just had a massive all-time record sale for women's basketball. Caitlin Clark back in the record book again, this time $84,000 at Fanatics Premier auction this past Thursday night on Fanatics Collect. $84,000. This particular card was the Panini Instant Draft Night card, where it was the 1-of-1 commemorating her being picked number 1 overall in the draft, her autograph on the card. Not actually, I don't know. In my opinion, not the card of hers that's come out thus far that I would have paid the most for. Yeah. I actually would have still rather had maybe her Bowman Chrome, her first Bowman Chrome Superfractor, rather than this one, a Panini Instant card. But nonetheless, this did the number that it did, $84,000, an all-time record. Is this a sign of things to come with Caitlin Clark? Is this a sign of things to come with women's basketball cards? What's your take on this, Teapot?
Well, brace yourselves for Prism WNBA, which is slated to come out at the end of October. Wow. If you want to look at a Panini product that will most certainly not hit the floor on a Dutch auction and then just sit there, it will be this product. I don't know. 2023 Prism WNBA had a gold vinyl 1-of-1 on the base set, and then they had 2 1-of-1 autos. They had a white sparkle and they had a gold vinyl auto. So they don't have blacks, at least in previous years. I don't know if they will this year. They will this time. They will?
I bet they will.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a black 1-of-1 and a gold vinyl 1-of-1 and maybe a Nebula 1-of-1. I don't know. Who knows what kind of 1-of-1, 16 1-of-1s. Taco Fractor 1-of-1. So this is definitely the most expensive WNBA card. The most expensive Prism WNBA card sold to date was a Sabrina Ionescu black gold number to 5 that sold for just $10,800 about 18 months ago. What are these Caitlin Clark 1-of-1 cards going to go? I mean, $200,000-$300,000, half a million, half a million. I don't know.
We have Wemby doing $500,000.
Yeah.
So, I don't think she's going to get to Wemby levels.
She's not Wemby level. She's not. But she's up there amongst the most notable athletes in the world right now.
And if
honestly.
this Panini Draft Night card did $84,000, you got to think that her WNBA stuff is that's got to do at least 2 or 3 times that.
The last thing I'm looking at is like, is this just a case of, like you said, is this rising tide rises all ships with other WNBA players? Asia Wilson just won her 3rd MVP. I don't know. Some of these, if these ones only have like the Rittenhouse rookies and the others, and they don't have a true Prism 1-of-1 rookie card, are we going to see a case where people start chasing like whatever their first year Prism 1-of-1 was? Will those cards go up in value? It's going to be really interesting. I don't know.
What do you think, Doug?
We're connected on this one here. I've got a lot of the similar thoughts and similar examples to lay out. Yeah, it's going to be the first, when Prism comes out, that's going to be the first 6-figure WNBA card for sure. Maybe the first female athlete 6-figure card, unless I'm missing.
Did Serena Williams go?
That's the one I was thinking could have done it. Caitlin Clark will almost certainly break that record, right? But we're seeing her effect across the sports card, or across the WNBA market. Starting in March of 2023 last year, think of what Caitlin was doing March of 2023. That's when you can look at 2020 Prism, first year WNBA Prism, and watch Asia Wilson's cards start to take off.
Yeah.
Not take off, but go up at least.
Yeah.
None of them have really taken off yet. You've seen, her rookie was 2018 Rittenhouse, to your point. So first year Prism has started to go up.
Interesting.
And not ever, come down from its low point in like the beginning of 2023. Her Color Blast has started to go up and stay there. And then I think another thing is that you've got good stars on the horizon. Because Caitlin's not just shined a spotlight on the WNBA, we're all aware of the college game now. We know Paige Beckers, we know Juju Watkins, we know these stars that are about to come in, and those are going to keep that elevated as well, I think. So what she's done has just helped that entire market, both pro and college, and I think it's going to sustain to some extent. So, it's a pretty big moment, honestly, for that whole brand, for that whole sport, and I think it'll stay that way for a little while.
It's exciting. I'm going to rip some Prism WNBA.
Everybody will.
I probably, I don't know. Maybe it's going to come out even more expensive. Who knows? Maybe it's $2,000
$9,000 a box.
Maybe that's when I'll go try to buy into a break for it. We'll see. Although the fever is going to go for $1,800 if the boxes are $2,000. Do
we think that the playoffs matter at all? I mean, her first playoff game was last night for us when we're recording this, and she was not good. She was bad. They lost by like 25. If they get swept and she's not good, will that have any impact?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think anybody's really expecting anything other than Dave Portnoy, who put a bet on them to win it 3 months ago. But by the way, data all provided in Market Movers. We do track WNBA cards.
That's where I got my data on Asia Wilson cards.
So
there you go. What a great transition. We track tons of WNBA. Go get Market Movers right now. Go get the Market Movers app on your phone. Download that. Search for Market Movers in the App Store. And while you're there, search for Arena Club and take part of the slab pack drop tomorrow. Remember, promo code SCI for 10% off your first order on Arena Club. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon in the next episode. Take care.